Okay, we missed the actual statement release due to my internet connection. But I kept trying. So it seems like we're fine now. I'm currently at my parents' place and I didn't believe that their internet connection is even worse than the connection in Asia. it's very poor internet connection. It's super annoying. And I actually called them and I complained, but they did nothing about it. So as we can see, um, we already had this bearish push, and I believe that with the press conference we might see price moving on the opposite side. That's how it usually used to move for FOMC. Like whenever we had FOMC, from my previous backtesting and observing FOMC events, we usually had two-sided move. If the first 30 minutes would move in one direction, we are going in the opposite direction for the next 30 minutes during the press conference. But let's see. As I mentioned previously, I haven't watched how FOMC have been behaving for the past couple of months, since January actually, since I went to Asia. So let's see if the reaction will be similar to what it was previously, or we're gonna see just price dropping lower due to the data. We knew actually that everyone knows that the Fed is gonna start cutting rates. It was more than expected. Can you guys hear me well now? Thank you. You might even see my nephew getting in and wanting to work. He says, I want to work like auntie. Actually, not auntie, he calls me Annie. He's not calling me auntie. So he might just come and say, hey, on the camera, and start shouting for me to give him the mouse. It's quite challenging to trade and to work or to do anything with him. He wants to touch everything. He wants to boss you. So I really wonder how people with children are managing to trade, and it's definitely a huge challenge. I like, when I'm gonna have kids, I think I'll be only swing trading. I'm not gonna be watching the charts on a regular basis like I do now. It's a crazy challenge with children. Is anyone here? Is anyone from the ones that are live uh, a father or a mother? How do you handle, or how do you find the balance? Yeah, I definitely learned in Asia that sometimes things are out of my control and I can't do anything about it. I try to reset routers, I try to restart the stream. That's what I can do. I cannot go and fix the internet. This is out of my control. So when it happens, it happens. Let me actually go on the lower time frames. And let's see if we're gonna see the move that we usually see during FOMC. So as I mentioned, I don't know how much you were able to hear and how much you were not able to hear, but the previous FOMC statements followed by press conference usually are moving on two sides. So now we already had the sell side liquidity being taken, And let's see if the press conference, which starts 30 minutes, 8:30 or 2:30. No, what was the EST time? It's 2:30. So 2:30, when the press conference starts, we might see a move on the opposite side. But let's see. That's how it usually was, but with trading we know that it's never a guarantee that it will happen as it happened the previous reports. And this time round it was not an unanticipated rate or an unanticipated report. We all knew that the Fed is going to cut rates. Everyone knows that like the Fed is gonna cut rates whole Q4, so we're gonna see a bearish dollar. So after liquidating these major sell side liquidity pools, I would anticipate to see price coming higher, taking this internal buy side liquidity and then dropping lower again. This is what I'm gonna be looking for. And when we're going to come back to take this internal buy side, it aligns perfectly with those volume imbalances that have been left here. I was the guy who taught me ICT concepts first, the guy from whom I heard about ICT concepts, who calls himself IPDA trader. He used to trade FOMC, every FOMC statement, he used to trade it. And he used to make a lot of money from it. So it's not that FOMC is unpredictable. I remember that he had a personal account and he was making 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 bucks every FOMC. So he was not skipping a single FOMC statement. But there is a difference between like sometimes you just see FOMC statement and sometimes you see FOMC statement followed by a press conference. When we don't have press conference, this is just a statement that when they are just discussing, they are not like releasing the report of if they are going to cut or if they are going to increase interest rates. But when we have statement followed by a press conference, that's when we see the both-sided move that I'm talking about. And he used to trade it every single time and he used to bank a lot of money on every FOMC. Sometimes he used to trade only on FOMC, like he's not trading whole month and he would be ready with an account during FOMC. So that's this thing is something that he has taught me and that I have observed after he told me about it. So this is an internal sell side liquidity that we want to see on euro being taken for price to come here and then continue on the upside. And for the next quarter, I believe that we're going to continue just creating higher highs and higher lows for higher highs and higher lows for the rest of the year. This is my sister and she's asking for my nephew who is so troublesome and he is all the time interrupting me. He wants to play. He's a big boss. He told me actually earlier today that he wanted to go live with me and he wanted to work. That's what he's so serious. He says, I want to work like Annie. I think he's in the other room. He has not heard that I'm live, otherwise he would have come. And then he starts taking my mouse and he's not letting me to touch the mouse. He's not letting me to touch the keyboard. Nothing. He's the boss. Okay, so we have 15 more minutes to go. Actually, I can bring him. Do you want me to bring him? Do you want to have some fun? He doesn't speak English, but it was gonna be even funnier if he speaks English. If you just hear how crazy he is. I'm actually telling him when the candles go up, we do this. When the candles go down, we do this. And he's just like, yeah, yeah. Let me see GU. Okay. Let me see gold. Pushing higher. Oh my god. And people are still trying to sell gold. Let's see what's gonna happen with the press conference. In the meantime, let me bring my Gembatko, my nephew. We might have some fun with him. Um, he calls himself the big boy, like the big brother. He says, "I'm not a baby. I'm a big brother." let me check if he wants to join us. Nikki, Nikki. So he's not at home. That's why he's not here. I was thinking it's so silent. How come he is not loud and coming and shouting? But he was not at home. That's why. Okay. So let's just wait and see. Um, let's just wait and see if we're gonna see the opposite push during the press conference. The structure is very clean. I was actually I wanted to take this setup here on GU, but it came too late. Like it was almost towards the end of the day here. So I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna look for an entry the following day, and the following day I missed the entry because it started moving already. I mean, this morning it started moving already at 8 a.m. and I wasn't up. I mean, I woke up, but I wasn't on the charts at that time. Otherwise, we saw a reaction from this zone, and if you remember, I mentioned this zone during the weekly outlook yesterday. Hello, Vasil. How are you doing? So this was definitely a perfect entry for GU if someone managed to catch it. EURUSD did not give us a proper pullback. I was waiting for it to come to this zone here, but it just tested this fair value gap and continued higher. Let me check the indices. Oh, awesome. Rudra managed to take this trade on GU. I mentioned it yesterday, but like sometimes when price comes to the area of interest too late after London close, I I don't want to sit in a trade overnight. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna enter tomorrow morning. And this morning I was already late. When I came to the charts, it was already late. Wow, 7 to 1. That's amazing. Good job. What is that candle indicator? Uh, this is power of three. Um, power of three. Let me check exactly which one it was. Power of three. Higher time frame power of three from 2 degrees. This is the one. And you can adjust it. You can adjust it if you want it to show a daily candle or you want another candle. For me, it's showing the daily candle because that's what I'm interested in. Na zdravie, Vasil. Bon appetit. This is a great indicator for everyone who is trading smart money concepts or power of three, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So the if you don't know about power of three, the theory says that we should always aim to, if the bias is bullish, we should always aim to enter at the opening price or below the opening price and then catch the distribution. So we have accumulation at the opening of the candle, we have manipulation that creates the wick of the candle, and then we have the distribution. So having the daily candle is definitely useful for you to know if you have positioned yourself in the right or in the good place. Let me check if let's say if I go back, if it's gonna be showing. Yeah, it's showing the previous daily candle. That's good. So you can even use it with, like, if you want to kind of like back test it. So it shows the opening price, but I'm not talking about the opening price during market rollover when Asia is transitioning to, when New York session is transitioning to Asia session. I'm talking about New York zero, like New York midnight. So New York opening, so to say. That's why when I don't know if you have noticed, but when I do the live streams, I always mention that for extra confluence, I'm looking at 8:30 price and 00. So this 00 is actually New York open. New York midnight open. So we want to, if we are bullish, we want to buy below the opening price. And if we are bearish, we want to sell above the opening price. And usually this price, like the midnight price and the 8:30 price, gets retested during session open. So for example, during London, if we manage to catch an entry below the opening price, if we're bullish, that's good. If not, usually when price wants to continue higher, we have a retest of the midnight price either during New York Open or during London close. Yes. Yeah, EST time. So it's a good one. It's a good one. I like it. So we took this trend line liquidity. The press conference is going to start in 4 minutes. So the next 30 minutes will tell us if we're going to see the usual FOMC movement. But it was more than expected that price was going to move higher. But for gold, like, oh my God, the ones that are trading gold. Who's trading gold? Will the market go up after 50 cut off? What do you mean by that? In what are you talking, like, if we're talking about DXY, DXY is gonna, the dollar is gonna continue dropping because the Fed just started with cutting rates. It's just the beginning. It's a first statement when they announced that they're cutting rates. And this is gonna continue towards the end of the year. Unless some, like, I don't think that anything is gonna change with the elections, but we'll see. It's gonna be second US election since I started trading, and during the first elections I was not experienced enough to be able to bank on the volatility. I remember the last account that I blew was during the during the elections 4 years ago. Yeah, no one should look for sells on gold, in my opinion. Like, I see so many people that want to short gold, and I'm like, how can you short something that is at all-time highs and has so many bullish PDRAs? Like, it makes no sense. People are trying to catch the top, but we don't know if and when this is going to be the top. About Bitcoin. When it comes to Bitcoin, Bitcoin is not influenced by DXY. What we currently see in Bitcoin, I mentioned this point of interest that we tested here and this fair value gap on the monthly. And I'm not going to be surprised if we continue playing here until November, December. And then from November, December, we're going to start seeing the new expansion on the upside. Because if we go back to where 4 years ago when we had Bitcoin halving again. Let me just find it. 2020. Let me find 2020. So here we are. We have Bitcoin halving every 4 years. So after every halving, which happens in May, every fourth year, we see some form of consolidation, long consolidation, and towards the end of the year, we start seeing the bullish move. So, for example, 2020, we started slowly moving on the upside in October. We've been in consolidation for a couple of months, and then October we started moving higher, December even higher, and then the beginning of 2021 until March we reached by back then the all-time high. So we are seeing a very similar pattern every four years when this has been happening. So if the same thing will happen this time around as well, we should break from this consolidation from next month and then see Bitcoin moving towards 100,000s. How many of you think that Bitcoin is going to reach 100,000s maybe towards the end of the year or Q1 next year? I think that we're going to see 100,000s on Bitcoin until March next year. People say, some people say that the price is moving in a cycle, a repetitive cycle, and that's what I think as well. That's why I think that we're going to see 100,000s by March. But some people say, oh, we're currently in a very different situation from where we were 4 years ago, which I also agree with. But there will be always speculations, and history repeats itself most of the times. I mean, all the time. So I do think that we're going to see 100,000 Bitcoin by March. For my birthday. 100,000 Bitcoin for my birthday. That's what that's what I'm wishing for my birthday, for my next birthday. I have birthday in March. Yeah, the dollar is bearish. The dollar is bearish, and it will continue to drop lower because the Fed is cutting rates. It's going to continue dropping lower. Okay, so we have the press conference as well, starting now. Let's see how far it's going to push. This here is a low from July 2023. So this is the low of 2023 in general. I'm expecting to see price rejecting from here. And then pulling back and then continuing lower. But keep in mind that this is a daily time frame. Is there anyone who traded FOMC? When the Fed is cutting rates, it's always bearish for the currency. It's not attracting investors. When they are increasing rates, that's when it's bullish for the currency. I'm not really following crypto news, to be honest. I didn't know about this new coin. Hello, Smiley. My week is fine. I haven't taken a single trade this week. I wanted to take this trade that I mentioned on the live stream yesterday on GU, but it came after London closed. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna look for an entry during the morning. And when I came to the charts, it was already away. It was already gone. But this was the only thing that offered me an opportunity, but it was a missed one. So no trades for me this week so far, unfortunately. This was gonna be a good one. I believe many swing traders caught this trade because it was so clean. I could have actually placed a swing trade as well, but I didn't. Otherwise, it would have been nice 1 to 2. So what next? We took this buy side. And going against it is risky. Going against the trend is risky. Let's see how the daily candle will close today. Look, for me, since I'm trading just GU and EU, it doesn't seem like I'm gonna have a trade this week. I missed my opportunity here. I burned myself with going counter trend in August, so I'm not willing to do it now. Let me check. I haven't been looking at USGPY in a while. You wanna go long? Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely risky. The weekly is bearish, the daily is bearish. We just came from this daily order block. What's the reason behind the long position that you want to take? I wouldn't do it, to be honest. No. I would have sold from here, not to buy now. I see your point. I see this order block, but don't trade patterns. Trade based on understanding. It makes no sense to long this pair right now. Like, look at the expansion. Look at the last expansion. This was the high, this was the low. We tested this order block in premium and order flow shifted to bearish again. So what's the reason behind the long? Head and shoulders. Bullish or bearish head and shoulders? I'm not used to... I don't see a head and shoulders here, to be honest. I don't know where you saw it. On what time frame? Ah, you mean this. You're ignoring the higher time frame. That's dangerous. Now I see what you see, but I don't like it. It's not the type of trade that I would take. Especially with the FMC statement. And of course it depends on, just follow your trading plan. It's just not something that I would do. It's risky, yeah. It's super risky. 800 pips. Good job. What did you trade? Golden NAS for me this week. I don't have, like, I've been lazy. Let me be honest. I've been lazy to collect statistics and backtest gold and indices. That's why I'm still bored with EU and GU. I've been all the time finding other things to do except for collecting data so that I can start trading them. Because the entry model that I use for EU and GU are not working for gold and for indices. Okay, we're seeing the opposite side now. Not that strong on EU and GU as on gold and indices. This is a clear indication of liquidation. But yeah, I'm not this bold type of trader that would just jump and trade something without data. So I gotta sit and do my job, collect data and start trading something else except for EU and GU. Okay, we have one gold trader here. Yeah, trying to catch a falling knife. Exactly. So that's a common um that's a common, how's it called? Fassi, I'm trading bot, personal, and prop. And when it comes to prop firms are currently in the worst ever situation. So I don't want to give any recommendations. The only ones that I kind of like trust is FTMO, no other firm. Let's try back. Yeah. We might have a good reversal tomorrow or Friday. My external liquidity technique worked well. Good. I mean, it was very clean. Like, look at this low resistance trend line, external liquidity. I wouldn't like, gold is volatile, but I've been watching gold. I haven't been just collecting data on gold. I see that it respects fair value gaps. It respects fair value gaps really well. But it's not doing proper retracements as I'm used to see on EU and GU. So that's why I don't really have a good entry technique for gold for now. Yeah, like when it comes to prop firms, we just have to be aware of what we're getting involved in. Like, we know the models, they're a good way to leverage our capital, but they shouldn't be the only, like, purpose, the only goal, because they are here today, but there's no guarantee that they will be here tomorrow. Let me check the lower time frames. You say during London it broke the range and I targeted external trendline liquidity. 2-bar bottom reversal. I believe you've entered, you said London. I'm not exactly sure where you've entered. I was waiting for gold. I was thinking to place a swing trade on my personal account. Here. Where was it? Here, where I've marked this liquidity. So I was thinking, okay, we're gonna test this weekly fair value gap. We have a weekly fair value gap here. So I was waiting for price to liquidate these two lows, and I had a limit order here, and it never came to take me. It just liquidated this one, and then it shoot higher. But for a swing trade, like, I'm not used to the volatility on lower time frames for gold. I'll have to backtest it and practice it in order to be able to trade them. Because I'm always entering in discount. So here, for example, I would have had an opportunity to enter. But after this last expansion from here, I wouldn't have any entry to catch this move. According to the way I trade, because I wouldn't just enter randomly from here, even though it took like many lows, session lows. That's not the way I'm trading. That's why I'm saying I have to backtest it. I don't feel confident trading gold. Like, I know so well EU and GU. I even have like intuition on how EU and GU are gonna move. But for gold, I've said many times, gold is a stranger to me. I can understand the direction. I can mention which areas might get respected, but I just don't know how to enter. I just haven't backtested and developed the model to execute gold. Weak versus strong currency for swing or short-term trading. So I'm not looking at weak or strong currency if you are thinking of these currency meters that we have online. I just look at the structure. I just do top-down analysis, and we know, like, I can look into different pairs and see where price is currently heading, which would give me some form of an idea which currency would be stronger than the other. But I'm not over analyzing and I'm not over complicating. I'm just looking at the order flow and the structure on the higher time frame. For example, Aussie, NZD, like, just look at the order flow and the structure and you're gonna understand what is getting respected and what isn't. This huge fair value gap, we have an order block here. Okay, respected. Move higher, we closed above this fair value gap. From resistance turning into support, another entry, push higher. Like, I'm just using basic market structure and order flow in order to determine the direction. And for swing trading, you don't need more than that, to be honest. You just have to understand, for major pairs, what the dollar is going to do, and we know what, if the dollar is going to be bearish, we're bullish on the other major currencies, and vice versa. If the dollar is bullish, then they're bearish. So now the dollar is bearish, we are going to be bullish on the rest of the major currencies. The only thing that we can look into is, for example, if you are trading, if you hesitate between EU and AU, which one would move more, for example, then in this case, we should identify which one from those two is stronger or weaker by looking at EA, which I haven't looked into since Euro AUD. I haven't looked into this pair since 2022. So, oh wow, look at my previous analysis. Oh wow, I haven't opened EA since 2022 actually, like I told you, 2022. Back then I wasn't it was the time when I started transitioning to smart money. Back then I was trading still support resistance, that's why you see all this. It's funny to see that I haven't cleaned the chart since then on this pair and see what I've been looking at. Oh my god, look at this. It's good that you brought it up, otherwise I wouldn't have noticed this. So let me just mention what I wanted to mention. So for example, here we can see that, let me check the weekly. We are in consolidation, so I wouldn't really say that one is stronger than the other one. So I wouldn't let EA to tell me what to do with those, with EURUSD and AUSD. I would just trade based on structure. So for example, for EU, as I previously mentioned, I'm gonna look for setup for long positions, swing positions from this zone here after we take this internal sell side liquidity. For AU, it would look like this. We have internal sell side here. Here we have a clean point of interest. We have a fair value gap above it. So a good zone for Aussie USD will be this one here. Taking these two daily lows, tapping into this daily order block, and then continuation, which might happen next week. I believe it's gonna happen next week. So I'm just keeping it, try to keep it as simple as possible. When I used to have thousands of things on the charts, I was just hesitating everything possible. Now I'm just looking at market structure, order flow, and liquidity. That's it. In these small confluences that I mentioned about power, like power of three, this is something that I already have as a second nature that I don't even have to think about. US. So what is your trade idea behind USD GPY? Is someone trading futures from the ones that are on the stream? I'm planning to do a series on how I'm planning to approach and start with futures. I heard that the liquidity in futures is much better than on CFDs. And do you do top-down analysis? You say market structure, liquidity, and points of interest. Do you do like top-down analysis? Because the USD GPY that you mentioned, if you do the top-down analysis that I mentioned, like you're going against the trend, you're going counter trend. But maybe you're a scalper. I don't know what you're doing. This is too risky in my opinion. So this fair value gap here might act as resistance. Keep that in mind. And we will see how this hourly candle will close. Entry was about head and shoulders, and entry at round number 145.00. Did price oh yeah, it reached. So institutional level and head and shoulders. Head and shoulders, like that's why there are so many theories. Is ICT working or not? I mean, it's all the same. Head and shoulders, in other words, is like break shift of market, change of character, as some SMC guys call it, or here is like some form, call it M formation, some call it like, I don't know, lots of things. So it depends, like this is a point of interest that can cause a reaction, but the bias is bearish, so I wouldn't take this trade. For me, I would have looked for a sell from here, and I would have taken profit here, and I would have waited. That's what I would have done according to the way I trade. I want a cup of hot tea. I want that as well, actually. That would be good. That would be good. Okay, this stream was with many interruptions, but at least we got some conversation and some flow towards the end. So if you entered at 1450, you already have banked quite much. Where was your stop loss? If you've entered at 500 as institutional level, you already have 75 pips. That's great. Are you guys interested in me doing mindset workshops, like presentations live? Maybe I can start with live workshops every Sunday. How to work on your psychology, how to get rid of limiting beliefs, how to improve your self-talk when you lose. Like before, when I used to make a mistake, mismanage a trade and lose, I used to have very negative self-talk, like how can you be so stupid, how can you make such a mistake. I haven't done that in a very long time now, and this is mainly because I really worked on tapping into my subconscious, understanding why I was doing that and things like that, and I shifted those things, and now like it definitely helped me a lot to accept losses much easier, to manage my emotions much easier. I haven't been going on tilt. Like if I'm losing more on a trade, it's due to me being taking a higher risk, like keeping a trade during news events and getting slipped and things like that. But I haven't went on a tilt and doing crazy things, because I really worked on my psychology and mindset, and I'm super excited to share all the knowledge that I have with you. So I can actually start from this Sunday. So maybe Sunday um, afternoon my time, so that even Asia and New York can be awake. We can do the first workshop for like mindset workshop, and we will see how it's gonna go. If there will be many people interested in joining the live, I can keep doing it, and we can go super deep. But if there are not many people that are interested, then it won't be as fun. That's awesome. That's awesome. I used to. That's great, Rudra. I used to. my my craziest week was 73 trades in 1 week. That was the time when I was a crazy scalper. And don't I was so anxious. I was so like destroyed. Now I'm pretty much like you. I'm taking one trade a week, 1 to 2 trades a week, sometimes even not that much. Molly sits? Elizabeth? Here is my big boy. Ele da manis, mal curac. The boys. Ela да поработиш малко с мен. Ела да маниш тук ръчичка. На камерата. И аз за тебе правих моябет. Ще дойдеш? Гледай тук.
Аз съм на Мико.
Шо?
Няма ми дома.
Нема ли те дома? На Мито ли беше ти?
И ти пият. Ути меко. И я ти бута. Меко на Мико.
Ти ли ръчам млекото на Мито? Ела ки мен.
На мен.
Here is the troublesome boy.
Има ми.
Big boy. Айде мани ръчичка там на камерата. Ники е това? Кажи hello.
О.
Oh.
Де на бота?
Дай ми the bottom. This means give me to work. Give me your mouse to work. That's what he wants to say. Okay. Ботиш ли? Браво. Чакай да прочитам между са дадите и батковците напишали тук. Okay. Okay, guys. I'm gonna have... Should I... He's not gonna let me lead the stream anymore. So you have another streamer here. Nikki, кажи, hey, how are you doing? Is everyone all right? Send us a heart. Send us a heart. Tell everyone, subscribe to the channel.
Okay.
Like the video. Hmm?
Я бачу. Що питай.
Що?
Питай вас. І може.
А кажи ка се викаш. Кажи ка се викаш.
Де може.
I'm telling him, tell everyone what's your name, and he's saying, I'm a big boy. He's not saying his name, he's saying Gambato, the big brother. Vicati, ciao ciao. Ciao ciao.
Това не се.
Ще кажем ли сега чао на сите и лека нощ?
Се се на.
Goodbye everyone. Have a good night. Кажи good night. Good night. Bye bye everyone. Кажи bye bye everyone.
Bye bye bye.
Bye bye everyone. Trade safe. Say, кажи, trade safe. Ники. Добре, айде, доста е. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Ники, дай на тета да завърши стрима, айде. Доста е. Айде. Okay, we're gonna be ending the stream here because the big brother is taking over. We had a liquidation. If I get a break of structure here, we're gonna have maybe a good opportunity tomorrow to target this internal sell side liquidity. Okay. Не чепки, да. Oops. The big brother is touching too many buttons. Айде да проверим чата. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you again on Monday for a weekly outlook. Oh no, sorry, on Sunday for a mindset workshop. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, and have a great evening. Trade safe. I'll see you again. No, I even lost. I have no idea where he pressed. Okay, there it is.